So today I'm not only covering a man who thinks it's worthwhile to rage over characters in Mario Kart of all things, but I'm covering a man who tries too hard to be a hidden block / normal boots presenter with no idea what makes them work. I'm so excited. Also, screw you, Hunter, for stealing my material. Surely you have something better to do with your time. Go be lesbians with Ryan or something, you fag.
So Games Grabber, you should definitely consider following me. You can check the link in the description. If you go there, you can purchase games from my links. I got collections of like games and amiibo and stuff. Also, maybe I'll even send you a message if you follow me. That'd be really cool. And you can even get notified about this kind of stuff. Now, excuse me, I have to throw this banana at Pink Gold Peach. Ah! Oh gosh, that's not good. Hold on. This is really weird. I've been like driving around in a circle and it's really weird.
Alright, I can see what you were trying to do with this. Mix in a short sketch with your advertisement. I can get behind that idea. What I can't get behind is everything about the way you go about it. It's fine up until the point where you try to do the actual sketch, which starts with you throwing the banana. Pushing aside the fact that you might be presenting a real hazard to other people on the road just so you can try too hard to be funny, the way you deliver your lines here is so awkward and stilted. You just stumble around words as things obviously go not according to the way you planned them, and the only thing you really say is, "Whoa, that was really weird, guys!" And then you just drop it. Would you care to invite us all to the planet on which this passes as comedy?
Warning, warning! This list is all about having some fun! Don't take it so seriously if your favorite character is on here, because I'm not.
Aw, that's cute. He thinks that saying this is just for fun will void the video from criticism. Sorry, Nathaniel, that's not how that works. Making a video for your own amusement is all well and good until you remember that you are presenting this to a viewing audience. If you want this to be fun, the people watching need to have fun too. And guess what? The insanely stupid reasonings and poorly executed jokes you're about to set before us will make this a lot less fun and a lot more painful instead. Alternatively, it will make people laugh, but not for the reasons you want them to.
So, the worst Mario Kart characters. There's a lot of bad ones that I can't wait to tear apart.
Okay, I know this does become clearer as you go along in the countdown, but what do you even mean by worst? There is more than one way you can measure that. Character tiers do exist in every single Mario Kart except 7, and even then only because every character can use every vehicle combination. Characters are objectively worse than others, it just changes depending on the game. In earlier installments, for example, heavyweight characters tend to be unreliable because it would take too long for them to reach their top speeds. In later games like Mario Kart Wii, characters like Funky Kong and Daisy were widely disliked for being noticeably better than the others and seeing a lot of use online. I know that sort of thing isn't a huge deal in casual play, and that's fine. The point of what I'm saying here isn't, you have to judge these characters more objectively. The point here is that you don't even bother to define what makes a Mario Kart character bad in your eyes, when there are many possible ways of judging that. Someone who is more in the know about character tiers in the series could easily become confused for a while because it doesn't become clear until a ways into the video how you're measuring what makes them bad.
Number 10! Hey look, it's the guy that saved the video game industry. He tried to kill James Rolfe one time, and he even has his own NES game. 2 in fact. Rob the Robot is a really interesting character, and we should all praise him like a god for sneaking Nintendo onto toy shelves in the middle of the 1983 video game crash. You heard that right. The NES was marketed as a toy to get into stores at first because stores wouldn't take video games from the crash. You sly dogs. They innovate not only with their technology, but with their marketing schemes too.
Geez, that took you 30 seconds to get through and you haven't even gotten to what makes Rob bad in Mario Kart yet. How does this relate to anything? Actually, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. The segment's not over, so there is still time to make this history lesson relevant.
Okay, history lesson over. Rob just doesn't feel right to be in a Mario Kart game.
Or don't connect it to anything, I guess. For the record, I did not cut anything out between those two interjections. Right after the 30-second history lesson, he launches into Rob being out of place in Mario Kart, and that's the only reason he's on the list. What does that have to do with Rob's history? If it was just to introduce the character, you didn't need to take that long. That could have easily just been shortened to, Rob is a toy that helped sneak the NES onto toy shelves and get video games back into popularity, so its importance to Nintendo led to the legendary robot being placed in future Nintendo games like Super Smash Bros. And Mario Kart DS, but I honestly don't think he fits very well in the latter. Not only could that information have been a lot shorter, because again all you needed to do was introduce Rob, you could have made the two statements actually flow into each other. You could have led the introduction of Rob into the reason you don't like him in Mario Kart, like in the example line I provided just now, rather than just go, history lesson, now it's over, here's why Rob is bad. The lack of any sort of flow makes the irrelevancy of your little history tangent that much more apparent, which only gives me the impression that you don't know what you're doing. That's not how you give your audience a fun time.
It's just strange seeing non-Mario characters in Mario Kart, and yes, I even have the balls to say that it was strange seeing Link and Villager in Mario Kart 8. Their appearances felt out of place. However, I don't feel that way towards the DK franchise. I guess that's because Donkey Kong was a Mario character to begin with. But yeah, man, Rob is just strange.
Okay, you get points for pointing out the difference between the 3 guest characters you mentioned and the Donkey Kong characters, since that covers a potential rebuttal that viewers have here. But you lose points for failing to elaborate on how those characters are out of place. I get that sometimes a chair is just a chair, and that it's not easy to elaborate on what you said, but the way you make this point is just full of uncertainty, and that doesn't do anything for your credibility. You don't appear to know how they're out of place in your opinion any more than I do. It's strange seeing non-Mario characters in Mario Kart is weak on its own. What makes them strange? Do their designs clash with the familiar Mario cast? Do they make for tonal shifts given the games they originated from? A tiny bit of elaboration would have made your point so much stronger, but you instead think it's okay to go with, I don't know why, but it's weird and I said so, now shut up! You only further shoot yourself in the foot by bringing up Link and the Villager, but failing to explain why Rob was chosen for this spot and not one of those two. And funny enough, you can make a strong case for either Link or Villager taking this spot instead, as they both come from games with radically different tones than Mario Kart. Villager is from a slow-paced life simulation series. Link is from a serious, world and lore-driven dungeon-crawling fantasy adventure series. You can make a case that neither of them fit in a fast-paced, multiplayer-focused, visually bright and chaotic racing game that almost exclusively contains characters from the lighthearted Mario series. Rob, on the other hand, does not have this issue, seeing as he originated from a couple of NES games with similar looks and tones to the original Super Mario Bros., and his only role these days is to appear in crossovers, always accompanied by Mario characters. Oh, am I getting off track? Well, you're the one who brought up Link and the Villager, and you're the one who didn't bother to explain why Rob was chosen over them. Maybe I should start writing these for you.
Number 9! So Lakitu, why is he driving? That doesn't even make sense to me. In every Mario Kart title, Lakitu was always the guy that's starting the race and fishing players from pits and holes. Now people have told me that the shell color is different. The one we play as has a red shell while the guy in charge of the race has a green shell. I know Lakitu is a species and there can be multiple versions of him, but it's just really strange when Lakitu saves Lakitu. It's like a paradox.
What? What?! You brought up that Lakitu is a species, so why is it strange that Lakitu saves Lakitu? Especially since they have differences in the designs, which again you pointed out. You put even less effort into explaining this than you did into explaining Rob, so I'm just sitting here wondering why! Is it any stranger than 2 Toads being playable in the new Super Mario Bros. Games? Any stranger than recruiting members of species to your side in Paper Mario games? Or, if you want an example relevant to Mario Kart, any stranger than Koopa Troopa, a mainstay in the roster throwing green shells, a mainstay item? This is such a common practice in Mario games that I'm utterly baffled as to why you find it so weird. You weren't just fishing for reasons to pad out this countdown, were you?
Now you might think, well, Koopa Troopas and Paratroopers are playable characters in Mario Kart, and they are, but they also don't have any other significant purpose in this franchise.
What did I just say? What did I just say?
The problem here isn't resizing Honey Queen so she fits in the car, obviously that had to happen, but the problem is that she is a bee! Bees are not meant to drive!
Neither are turtles, undead turtles, gorillas, dinosaurs, ghosts, babies, or living mushrooms. What is your point?
You know what happens when bees get in a car? You scream like you got beaver fever and swat at the bee, which leads you to getting stung by the bee and crashing your car and dying! That doesn't sound like a fun time, does it?
But what if you have a bee fetish?
Now I get it. Honey Queen has arms and legs, which would allow her to steer the car. That doesn't change how I feel about her being in Mario Kart. She could make a great obstacle for a honey-themed Mario Kart track now that I think about it, but nothing more than that.
And you didn't bother to explain what makes Honey Queen strange. You're seeing a pattern here, right? I notice you spend more time trying to curb your own points than actually explaining them. You gave all these reasons why Honey Queen would be okay for Mario Kart, and none for why she doesn't make sense as an inclusion. What makes this even more irritating is the fact that you missed such an obvious reason why Honey Queen is bad in Mario Kart. She was an extremely minor character before. Not a recurring enemy like Koopa or Lakitu, but a mere stage prop that you encountered thrice overall in the main series. It didn't help her case that more liked characters like Diddy Kong, Bowser Jr., and especially Waluigi got shafted in favor of a throwaway bee that no one was asking to see more of. You could have easily brought up the biggest strike against the Honey Queen, but you instead talk about and defeat other arguments that don't even matter. The only thing you have here is, it's a bee. So what if it's a bee? This is Mario Kart.
Number 7. So that rant I just had about Honey Queen, a lot of that nonsensical logic applies to Wiggler too, but on an even grander scale.
What logic? You didn't apply any logic to Honey Queen. Just, lol, it's a bee. What makes Wiggler more offensive? Especially since, unlike the whole argument I brought up earlier about Honey Queen being insignificant, That's not the case with a recognizable and recurring enemy like Wiggler.
Honey Queen is at least somewhat shaped in a way to be driving a car, but a caterpillar? Are you freaking me? Just... no! Stop! What are you doing, Nintendo? Oh, that's cute. You gave him some gloves so he can drive the car. That's nice of you to do for him, but that doesn't excuse the fact that he's a caterpillar!
Are you serious? You said earlier regarding Honey Queen that resizing her wasn't an issue. Now it's an issue when Wiggler does it? I mean, just like you said with Honey Queen, adjusting the anatomy a bit had to happen, so... yeah. Way to be inconsistent. Otherwise, this is basically just repeating the last segment, only instead of lol it's a bee, you just say lol it's a caterpillar. Next!
Number 6.
Here we go with the baby characters. Nobody can deny how hilarious it was when we first saw Baby Mario and Baby Luigi driving in Double Dash.
But babies shouldn't be driving cars! In the real world, if a baby was driving, you would crash and die! You fail logic forever, Mario Kart!
But Baby Daisy? Yeah, that's a problem. Baby Mario and Baby Luigi work because they've been in a few other games besides just Mario Kart, including Yoshi's Island, Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, and so on. Since they have some sort of recognizable background, it only makes sense to add them as playable characters. Baby Daisy, however, has only been made for Mario Kart. Well, okay, she's also been in Mario Sluggers, but that's beyond the point.
You were so close! You were so close to a good point, but you screwed it up. You brought up that Baby Daisy was only made for Mario Kart, and that's correct. But then you also brought up another game she appeared in, and it muddled your point. Now, you are correct. Baby Daisy was invented for Mario Kart, and Super Sluggers came later. But for anyone who doesn't know that right away, you appeared to contradict yourself, since you say she was made for Mario Kart but also appeared in Super Sluggers, without bothering to clarify that Mario Kart Wii was the character's first appearance.
Number 5.
Oh, the baby character hype train ain't over yet, folks! Welcome aboard, Baby Rosalina! Yay! 3 cheers for crappy characters! Hip hip, why?
Nice impact font memes. Now can you do me a favor and actually learn how to structure a joke? There's no apparent connection between the 3 cheers cliche and your agonized cry of why, so the only thing you have going here is the admittedly decent timing.
Why does this character actually exist? Thinking in the most general manner, I could possibly imagine Baby Mario, Luigi...
To nothing. It all comes tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down.
I could possibly imagine Baby Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Daisy all being born. Because Mario and Peach are supposedly a thing, and the same goes for Luigi and Daisy. So maybe they're just the kids or whatever. But Baby Rosalina? I'll never understand this one.
You can see them being born. What? What are you trying to say? The other baby characters might be children of the pre-existing ones? No, they're clearly established as those specific characters as babies. What, were you not paying attention to Yoshi's Island and Partners in Time? Why could Baby Rosalina not exist in concept? This entire line of reasoning makes absolutely no sense, even by this countdown standards. I'm not even touching the rest of this segment.
Metal Mario. His model in both Mario Kart 7 and 8 are both exactly the same. It's just Mario with a metal coat of paint. The only real difference is that the voice is pitched in a metallic way, and that's pretty much it.
No, it's not. If you did anything resembling research, you would know that Mario is in the medium weight class while Metal Mario is a heavyweight. That doesn't sound like much, but weight classes do mean something in Mario Kart, so this is sort of like a semi-clone situation in Super Smash Bros. Metal Mario and Mario are obviously similar, but they do have marked differences, thus giving credence to Metal Mario's presence in Mario Kart.
You can tell me that, well, Metal Mario does different types of tricks, so you're wrong, dislike, unsubbed, and, you know, that may or may not be true. That's not something I need to research. I mean, just look at how lazy this is.
Are you serious? How lazy were you when you put this countdown together? You brought up a potential argument that people would bring against you, and you admitted that you can't prove it wrong and that you don't know either way. It doesn't even matter if you're right or wrong about them having the same trick animations. You still made a complete rookie mistake. You cannot expect people to take you seriously when you're presenting yourself in such a lazy manner. Get good.
Say hello to Cat Peach. All Nintendo did was inject the Cat Bell power-up from Super Mario 3D World into Peach's arm and made her a cat for eternity.
You know, except making her one of the lightest medium weight class characters and making a different model and different animations. Which reminds me, how is this ranked higher than Metal Mario? Disregarding the weight class difference that you didn't acknowledge, Metal Mario's model is just Mario's with a metal coat. That is not the case with Cat Peach, who is structured differently from normal Peach and requires that new model and new animations be made for the character. In every other regard, she's in the same boat as Metal Mario. Cat Peach required more effort to make than Metal Mario and has more overt differences from Peach than Metal Mario does from Mario, so why is she higher than him? You could make the argument that Metal Mario has been better established as a separate character, or that Metal Mario's weight class difference is more significant than Cat Peach's from Peach's, but you don't even try to justify your ordering here when you very well could.
I kind of understand furries seeing this as attractive, and I'm not hating on you guys. You do you. Aside from that, though, what is the actual point? Oh, right, she doesn't talk. She just meows at you now. Well, that's just wonderful. I'm so glad that instead of getting a left-out Mario Kart 8 character like, I don't know, Birdo, Diddy Kong, or maybe someone brand new like Nabbit or Boom Boom, we instead get this hot mess. And B said Cat Peach was hot. He's a freak, confirmed! Guys, calm down. I know some of you are pretty riled up down there. Yeah, I see you. Now look, I'm not a freak. People that are furries are not freaks, but these next two characters, oh, they certainly are.
So you made a joke about furries liking Cat Peach, then you ask what's the point, followed by pointing out voice clip differences. Which, once again, is an instance of your statements not flowing into each other at all, since they don't relate in any capacity. And then you go back to the furries joke. This is structured so poorly and the shifts in tone are so jarring that it just falls apart. I can't even tell what you're trying to do anymore.
You know, there's really not a lot for me to say about Tanuki Mario that I haven't already addressed about Cat Peach. Instead of wasting your time with filler, I know what you guys really want.
I won't waste your time with filler, he says, right before he does this.
You know who number 1 is on the list. Or do you? Have I changed my mind? Have I not? Are you procrastinating? Is the sky really blue? Did she actually say that? He actually cheated on her? Is Michael Jackson still alive? Will I ever stop asking questions? Has Area 51 discovered aliens? Mario Kart 64 or Diddy Kong Racing? Ow! Okay, geez, sorry. And now, the number one worst Mario Kart character ever is...
Guys, Pink Gold Peach. It's just pink gold. That's all it is. No changes.
You know, except the weight class and the stats.
And you know what the worst part is? People defend her.
Well, freaking excuse me for trying to clarify with you that she's not a carbon copy like you keep saying. Weight classes are a thing. Do you even fact check?
That Metal Mario needed a girlfriend.
Did you ignore the possibility that people who say that were joking? I mean, it's kinda hard to believe they were serious given that you don't bother to show the context behind it. I'm just saying, something that sounds that out there could possibly be not serious and just for fun. Speaking of...
Warning, warning! This list is all about having some fun! Don't take it so seriously if your favorite character is on here, because I'm not.
You sure seem to be taking this awfully seriously for something that you claimed was just for fun, which is only further hammered in by you speechifying to Nintendo, getting legitimately angry, and continuing to drag it out! And now that this segment is over, can I ask you something? Why is Pink Gold Peach worse than Baby Daisy and Baby Rosalina? All three characters are alternate forms of pre-existing characters, and they did not exist in any Mario game prior to their debut, meaning that they were all invented for the purpose of filling up the roster. They each have differences from their normal counterparts, but they are alternate forms nonetheless. What makes Pink Gold Peach lazier than those two? While you could say that Pink Gold Peach is a clone of Peach and the babies are not clones of their normal counterparts, I could counter that by saying that the babies are all clones of each other. You gave no structure, rhyme, or reason to the way you ordered any of this, which is a great way to lead into my final thoughts because the video's over now anyway, and holy crap, this was awful! To begin with, there's your sense of humor. I think you have the potential to be genuinely funny. I really do. But you need to learn how to time and structure jokes. The way you lead into each joke is seemingly random and with little rhyme or reason, overshadowing any semblance of humor and instead making the jokes come across as off the wall and nonsensical. You're rarely able to time them either, given that you drag out just about every punchline and kill the potential amusement. And this is all the more grave given that you have over 60,000 subscribers. Surely you did not get to that point by not knowing anything about how to time and structure jokes. You know what else drags down your humor? The terrible points that surround each joke. Your points range from irrelevant to incorrect to off the wall. In what world do Honey Queen and Wiggler being a bee and a caterpillar make them bad characters? In what world is it weird that multiple members of the same species serve multiple roles? You defeated your own points constantly and so obviously didn't know what you were talking about, even flat out admitting that was the case at one point. You ignored critical components of each character so you could continue hammering in your superfluous reasonings and so you could have an excuse to make false statements. You lacked basic fact-checking. You lacked the tiniest bits of elaboration that you needed to make your point stronger. But instead of putting in a bit more effort, you chose to make this entire script as disorganized as possible. From the very beginning, in which you don't establish what makes a character bad in your eyes, you do very little to indicate a proper sense of progression here. Why are the top 4 clone characters ordered the way they are? Why are they worse than Baby Daisy and Baby Rosalina? Why did you ignore stat differences and the more technical aspects of each character when ranking them? What exactly did you take into consideration? The more I think about this countdown, the more confusing it becomes. But even to the average viewer, it should be clear just how sloppily this video was put together. And for the record, I don't disagree with a lot of the opinions you presented here. I don't like Baby Daisy or Baby Rosalina. I don't care at all for the fact that Mario and Peach each have 4 variations in the cast of Mario Kart 8, but your stated reasons for putting them on this countdown were just terrible from every angle. You made the fatal mistake of telling lies and exaggerating what's actually there just so you could make points. All you needed to do to make your points was tell the truth and present relevant information to back up your opinion. That's all. Seeing as a lot of your countdowns have similar issues, it's clear to me that you need to start putting more time and effort into them. Check your facts. Try to make sure your statements actually flow into each other. Script a little more carefully. And I know that's not easy given your frequent upload schedule, but maybe, just maybe, you should consider cutting back on uploads a bit. Quality is more important than quantity, and if you continue to emphasize quantity, your videos will not get better. If this is supposed to be striving for originality, Mr. Bandy, then frankly you're not trying hard enough.